Today is the day we are going to learn about the 7 most important tips when it comes to communication. And before we start this course, I want to tell you that behind what we are going to share with you today is a team that has been involved in the nonprofit sector and in social and environmental initiatives for over 20 years. We have been part of boards, we have led NGOs, we are volunteers in NGOs, and together we have created communication, marketing, and fundraising campaigns in over 100 countries for all kinds of causes. These 7 tips are the result of that experience because we have realized that NGOs are filled with people who seem like superheroes. They are passionate, intelligent, hardworking, and are addressing the greatest challenges facing humanity. And yet, it seems they are always driving a car with a flat tire and are so concerned about doing their job well that they forget the importance of communication. And as my grandmother used to say, to cackle the egg. They may be humble people or simply do not like to brag about their achievements, or perhaps they lack the knowledge, time, or resources to invest in communication. That's why we created Samya Media, a social initiative aimed at providing tools, courses, and consulting to help organizations that are doing social good in the world have a greater impact. And this course today is part of what we do in a dynamic way, providing examples. We are going to review the tips for good communication. How can we communicate effectively? Sounds easy, right? But applying these 7 tips can help you not only in your cause, but also in your work, in your marriage, in your relationship with your children, or when talking to your parents. So here we are at the first of our 7 tips, and let's think about our favorite food. This example was shared with me by a great friend and colleague. Think about something that no matter how satisfied you are, if it's placed in front of you, you can't help but eat it. For me, it's chocolate, in any of its forms. It can be enjoyed hot, cold, in cake, in bar form, 90%, 70%, with mint, whatever you can think of. I love chocolate, but what would happen if I go fishing? I'm not an expert in fishing, and I use chocolate as bait. I assure you that no fish would bite my hook, and it's because, well, fish probably like worms and not chocolates. Another example that we like to use is, imagine you are going to a party and you have these outfits that you see on the screen. Which outfit would you choose? Which dress would you pick to go to the party? Of course, it depends on the party because they need to feel comfortable, they need to fit in. Imagine that you put on the red dress and go to the party only to realize that it is 11 a.m. on a beach. It's not that great, so we have to do what's appropriate for the occasion. I like to use this example as an opening because what matters is not the dress, but the party. Do we sometimes start thinking about the dress, the medium, the message, the poster, and not really consider where we will be, who will be there? What do they look like? What are they interested in? What music is playing? I studied marketing, and much of what we learn is precisely how to understand our audience. And there are many methodologies and techniques to do this, but one that is very simple and that we can all do is to describe our audience as if they were a person. If your audience were a person, what would they be like? Would they be a man or a woman? Would they be young or an older person? Are they athletic or sedentary? Do they like to travel? Do they spend a lot of time on social media? What do you currently know about the topic I want to communicate? How familiar are you with it? Where do I need to start the communication? If I want to, for example, encourage someone to get the COVID vaccine, today, I don't have to start explaining what COVID is because we have been living with it for years, with daily news, interviews with doctors. We have already had it ourselves or know someone who has had it, or we know someone who has passed away or others who have survived. But what would happen if I have to run a campaign to raise awareness about ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis? You may need to start the communication by explaining what that disease is, how many people are affected by it, and many more details. The most important thing is not to assume. When describing an audience, go out and ask, conduct a survey on social media, hold focus groups where you invite a number of people who are part of your target audience and ask them what they want to know. One of our partners at Samia Media works in the Caribbean. He lives on an island called St. Lucia and was designing a communication strategy for fishermen. He knew that the people of Santa Lucia are very musical and thought that the best way to spread their message was through music. As a parenthesis, music is a very powerful tool for generating cultural change. But returning to Aileen's example, that's the name of our colleague, he needed to know what type of song would be ideal to convey his message. So he asked, "And what do you think is the type that people in the Caribbean like to listen to the most? What kind of music do you think the fishermen listen to?" It is usually thought that it could be folk, calypso, or reggae. And again, if we guess from the outside, we often get it wrong. It turns out that for the fishermen of Santa Lucia, country music is the music they like the most. Never, ever, ever think you know your audience. Never assume, always ask. One of my favorite examples is definitely told by my partner Sean. She is his daughter Safia. When she was little, she was a big fan of Doctor Who. Well, all of us who are parents know that when our children are passionate about something, we end up taking them and attending places we never thought we would be. So Sean had to go to each of the comic cons. And now that I have a son who also loves Marvel, and I watch all the movies and series of every hero and villain in all the multiverses with him, believe me, it's more complex than a doctorate. For those who are not familiar with this world, comic cons are a madness. Great, amazing music and comic festivals that take place all around the world. And Sean recounts that one year he was at the UN General Assembly in New York, where, if you look at this photo, you can see what those assemblies are like. They presented the Sustainable Development Goals and discussed how to convey those goals to children and youth. And this is indeed what they presented. How many of you actually have children, and how many of you think this would exactly motivate your children? It's not exactly accessible, and if you dig a little deeper, it gets even worse. Don't get me wrong, the work is very good. It's an excellent way to reach an agreement among the world. But the way it is presented is not necessarily accessible to everyone. This is the detail. And behind each of these objectives, if you read any of these lines, I promise you it is the perfect material to put any kid to sleep. I had really important information, a well-crafted framework, a very clear audience, but a product that was not designed to reach that audience. And well, the next day, Sean took his daughter Safia to Comic-Con, which was being held in New York on that occasion. And there was that audience they wanted to reach. The people, from the day before, were dressed in costumes, spending money, and had spent 5 consecutive days running back and forth asking for autographs, truly enjoying every minute. Why didn't they then combine comics with the Sustainable Development Goals? Like any good campaign, it starts with thorough and comprehensive research, and they discovered that comics work quite well. The highest grossing movies that year had been films based on comics. And it's not just a matter of young people. The people who read comic books are children, teenagers, and even adults. To make a long story short, they created comics for the United Nations, producing over 25 comics in dozens of languages. They partnered with groups that work closely with children and youth, including UNICEF and all the ministries of education. And the Sustainable Development Goals reached tens of millions of children and young people around the world. This is one example. Let's take a look at it, and we'll see you in the next tip.
It is so decided.
2015. World leaders commit to 17 Sustainable Development Goals for the planet at the United Nations in New York. The mission? To inform the world of these goals so everyone can play a role in achieving them. Comics uniting nations could be the key. The idea is to inspire young people as heroes for change, superheroes in their everyday lives. The United Nations has delivered its message through comic strips and animation for decades, working with a colorful cast of characters.
What if we were to get comics to illustrate the Sustainable Development Goals and make them fun and entertaining to an audience, a younger audience that the UN isn't used to reaching?
The project, in partnership with UNICEF, PCI Media Impact, and Reading with Pictures, aims to produce an original comic book for each goal for worldwide distribution. One of the goals is gender equality. Sharad Devarajan, head of Graphic India, shows the design he created with legendary comic book creator Stan Lee for Comics Uniting Nations. Meet Chakra, the Invincible. The story is about
a young boy who creates a technology suit that activates the mystical chakras of the body. So East meets West, science meets spirituality.
But one day, Chakra switches identities with Leela, his neighbor, with dramatic consequences. Now Leela enjoys all the freedoms once available only to boys, while Chakra is stuck at home, burdened with household chores instead of playing with the other children.
But by the end of the day, they switch back, and he's walked away with a great lesson that it's not so easy to walk in her shoes. And he's the first person to do the dishes with her that night, and he's the first person to make sure that all the kids invite her to the cricket game to play as well.
Sharad's other projects also target gender inequality in India. The Girl Power Project is a nationwide call for young girls to create a female superhero they would like to see. So the question is, what kind of superpower would you like to have?
जो भी दुनिया में बच्चे नहीं पढ़ते हैं, मैं उनके लिए एक स्कूल बनाऊं।
जो भी भूखे लोग हैं, उनको मैं खाना खिला सकूं।
It all came together last October at New York's Comic-Con. Over 170,000 attendees gathered at one of the largest pop culture events in the world. The event also saw the launch of the 50th anniversary edition of Thunder Agents, a comic book series created in the 1960s, featuring a group of peacekeepers with superpowers known as the Higher United Nations Defense Enforcement Reserves. Batman producer Michael Uslan has teamed up with China-based Huayi Brothers Media to produce a new series.
One of the magic things about Thunder Agents is they don't come from another planet. They are given a technological device from the scientists from different countries in the UN that gives each one a superpower. So there's a human element of it, but it's about everyday people who have an opportunity to become empowered.
Climate change is an epic challenge for humanity. Dealing with gender discrimination, the same thing, is an epic challenge for all of humanity. Well, comics is all about epic challenges and superheroes with superpowers that need to step up and help us deal with problems.
A great superhero story touches us because it takes us beyond race, religion, and culture, and it speaks to us in the primal language of human imagination. And that's the best thing we can do if we want to foster the kind of innovative thinking of tomorrow.
The next generation of real-life superheroes will not just reflect society, they will be equipped with the special power to change it, inspiring the world to dream bigger and imagine greater. This report was produced by Grace Barrett for the United Nations.